YouTube, hello, Retro Reclaimer here, back for episode 3 of this short little series of videos. So, if you haven't watched first 2 episodes, a friend from work has brought in some games, old retro consoles and games that he's found in his garage. He's been sorting it out. In the first 2 episodes, I go through a PS1, and all I'm doing is just plugging them in, checking if they're working, having a quick look at the games, cleaning them up a bit and seeing if there's any issues that I can then let my friend know whether they're playable or not. They've been kept in the garage obviously for a number of years, and yeah, they're covered in dust. Other than that, they seem to be in really good condition. So yeah, first episode was a PlayStation, second episode was a Sega Mega Drive, and this final episode, the one which I'm a bit more excited about, is a Sega Master System 2 console. A bit more excited simply because it's a console that I've never... You can see the amount of dust on there. Yeah, it's a console that I've never played. I never owned. I didn't really know anything about a Master System until I started collecting. We had a NES when we were younger, and then we moved on to sort of Super Nintendo, Sega Saturn, N64. So in terms of Sega, we didn't have a Mega Drive, we didn't have a Master System. It was the Dreamcast, which was the first Sega console. So yeah, this is just one that sort of eluded me. So it's just interesting to sort of fire it up and use the controller and test a couple of games out, see what it looks like. Because even at sort of conventions and places like that, it's just a system I've never... Because I've no nostalgia for it, I've never had an interest in actually putting any effort or time into looking at games on the system or collecting. I've not once owned a Master System of any kind. Yeah, so let's... I think mainly because I look at sort of Sonic on the Master System and the Mega Drive, and I think, well, why would you ever have a Master System? But obviously I get that there'll be many other games on here. But yeah, is it 8-bit this generation? 8-bit was just... I'm not a fan of 8-bit. I've never owned a NES whilst collecting as well. But yeah, this is incredibly dusty, so I'm going to actually give this a dust off before I plug it in. But yeah, hopefully, like the other consoles, it's working fine. So yeah, that's the console. Okay, in this little box we've got the AC adapter. Again, dusty, but no sort of signs of damage or chewing of wires or anything like that. We've got an aerial cable here, which appears to be some sort of extension. Again, I've never plugged one of these in, so this is a bit new to me. And then we've got the aerial for the TV. So I'm presuming this is just an extension that you can sort of run along a wire, but it looks long enough. But we'll have a look at that. There's 2 controllers. These old rectangular controllers. Again, never used these before. This one is way more dustier than the other. And on the back is... It looks like a spider's shed this... Oh my god. Oh, there's a big spider in there. Oh, it's dead. Yeah, I think spiders shed the skin, don't they? It looks like a spider shedding of the skin. I hate spiders, by the way. My missus always tells me, oh, get that spider, get that spider. I'm happy with them. I get that they're in the house. Let them live. Just let them live. But she's always asking me to get rid of them. And I don't like touching them. I get scared. Put that cup over and I absolutely cack it. There we go. Big juicy spider. I see there. And he's going to have a wash. It freaks me out, this stuff. So yeah, 2 controllers. And I'm going to get rid of this box. I'm not going to won't put these back in this box, I'll get rid of it. And then there's game, Ghost House, if you can see. Probably full of spiders. Incredibly dusty on the inside. Let me see if I can get that in the light. I'm not going to be able to. There you go. Yeah, incredibly dusty inside. There's no doubt. Well, I'll clean that before I put it in, just to prevent any further damage. And yeah, this is the box it came in. So we'll definitely get rid of that box. Yeah, it doesn't look like there is a manual, which is a shame. The other consoles he had manuals for, booklets. There isn't one for this. But other games we've got, let's see. Right, so we've got a manual for Alex Kidd. Now, I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure that Alex the Kid comes on the console. I'm covered in crap. Yeah, I think Alex the Kid comes on the console itself. Again, not 100% sure, but I'm pretty positive that that's correct. Other games we've got Castle of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse, which I believe he had on the Mega Drive. No, World of Illusion. So maybe this is a prequel to World of Illusion. Manual that's had a bit of doodling. Someone's drawn a dog. And then yeah, the games in there. Again, in the cases, they're free from dust, aren't they? Well, not free. There is dust in there, but they fare much better when they're left in the cases. So that's one game. Next game is California Games. This is basically like your Olympic Games sort of thing. Maybe not Olympics. I think there's surfing, skateboarding. It looks like running. Some lass running on a beach, and biking. I think I had this loose on the Mega Drive at one point, and I didn't enjoy it. I thought it was a bit shy. Manual and game. The manual is missing the front cover, unless that's how it came. Like I said, I'm no Master System expert. Okay, 3 more games. Wimbledon 2. I've got no idea of any of these tennis players. I'm guessing they're real, actual real players, but I couldn't tell you. Tim Henman. No, it's not. I don't know who they are. Tennis games are definitely, I think out of all sort of sports games, tennis games are age the best. You can pretty much play any tennis game and it's fun, and they don't change. You play the latest tennis game compared to this, and there's not really any difference. It can't change much, can it? It's tennis. Obviously graphically, like everything, it can improve, but tennis games tend to be the most fun sports games. Football, I think it's a bit, it just depends on what. So like Sensible Soccer is amazing, but there's others out there which aren't so good. What else is in here? So there's a big poster in here, a little poster. Sega Games Catalogue. It shows some consoles there, Master System, Mega Drive, Game Gear, and then on the back we've got some games. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, so it's sad really that I've never delved into this, but I mean, when you think of the cost of all this stuff, Master System I believe is quite cheap, but when you've just considered the cost of everything in the space, you're going to always prioritise that sort of nostalgia, the games that you played when you was a kid. If you didn't play them as a kid, you don't have as much interest. Right, I'll tell you what, I'll save that one for last. We've got Sonic the Hedgehog. So again, because I didn't know anything about Master System, I thought Sonic the Hedgehog released on Mega Drive, and that's the first place it was. And then I saw Sonic on the Master System, and I thought, so was the Mega Drive version just a re-release? And then again, I'm not 100% sure, but I sort of learned that it was released on the Mega Drive, but then they also released a Master System version as well, which is sort of what they do today, don't they? A new console comes out doesn't mean that that's the only place to play a new game. You do get them on the older systems as well, but there's just a big difference with 16 and 8-bit Sonic. Like I said, I've always looked at this and I thought, that's not the Sonic I know or remember, so I'd never play it. But maybe I'm being a bit naive. Sonic the LCD game, so this looks like it shouldn't be in here. Again, I could be wrong, I don't know. This looks like a little Game & Watch of some sort, instructions. Whether something came with it or not, I'm not 100% sure, but the game and the manual's in there. But I'm presuming that's from Tiger. I'm presuming that's from some sort of little Sonic handheld. Right, in the final game, again, which is the best of the bunch. Again, it's a game that personally I've played on the Mega Drive, not the Master System. It doesn't look half as good, judging on the pictures, but it's an incredible game. I find it so fun. The music, the character, the movement, it's just the rhythm to it is just brilliant. The moves that you can do, and of course I'm talking about Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. So I played this when I first started sort of collecting games, 2013, and yeah, I remember first playing it, and it was still sort of raw. Everything that sort of I think what year did Michael Jackson die? I can't remember. I feel like it was 2010, 2011. Or was it before that? Yeah, 2009, 2010. I could be wrong, but it weren't many years after that I was playing this, and obviously there was all the talk about him being I'll not say. And this game, the idea of this game is you're Michael Jackson. You go into sort of, it looks like a sort of a bar, but 2D side scroller. You go into these rooms, and there's children sort of that need rescuing. So your move set, the way you attack people, you're dancing, you're sort of moonwalking your way through. You can moonwalk backwards. You throw your hat at them. You do the hee kick. It's just really awesome. But yeah, and then you're obviously rescuing the children. It's just, yeah, I can imagine there was some controversy with it, but it's honestly a great fun game. Again, there's we've got the manual, we've got the game, and then we've also got another poster. Let's have a look at this one. But yeah, so there's a soundtrack as well, obviously Michael Jackson's music. I think it's is it well, I don't know the name of the song, but Annie, are you okay? Are you okay? Well, I think there's a few actually, but it plays the music as you're sort of going through. Obviously, in this sort of 8-bit, 16-bit style of music. So yeah, same as the other one. On one side you've got consoles and peripherals, and then different games on the other. Always interesting to find that stuff. But yeah, great game. It's one that I'd like to get on the Mega Drive actually. Games here. Right, so what we'll do, so that's everything. So what I'll do next is I'm just going to give it a quick sort of wipe over, just with a damp cloth or a baby wipe, and then plug it all in and see if it's working, and then yeah, we'll have a look at certainly Moonwalker, but Sonic as well. It'll be the first time I've played 8-bit Sonic, and the first time I've played a Master System, so it should be fun. So yeah, we'll see you shortly. Right, so we've got it plugged in. It's working, that's the main thing. So one thing I was worried about is there's no standby light or any power lights. There's no indication, and it doesn't make any noise. There's no indication that it actually receives power and works. So I was a bit confused with when I was setting it up and just searching for the right channel on the tuner. I'm trying to play Sonic here with one hand. But as you can see, it's very grainy, which is most likely a result of a dodgy junction box. So the way this works, you plug an RF adapter into the back, then into the RF box here. Of course, you've got to plug it all in the right way, but oh, hang on, I've made it better. Let's try dangling that down there. So obviously, yeah, these things were terrible, and what's happening is at the moment that doesn't look too bad, but because it's near the console, it's and there's a lot of wires back here, so there's other signals interfering with it, I think, so it needs propping up somewhere. There we go. Yeah, 8-bit Sonic. Looks very different than the Mega Drive. So the lines going up and down the screen, they don't... Oh, there we go, it's changed again. So it's working fine, you've just got to find... You just got to find somewhere to balance this. Let's just try on the back here. Right, there we go. Yeah, so you just can't have it too close to other signals. I think that's what it is anyway. It's like other signals interfering with the signal to the TV. But it works. So one thing I'm going to try now is I'll finish this level, and then what we'll do is we'll see if Alex the Kid works just without obviously a gaming, because I'm sure it just runs off the console itself. But yeah, it's working. It looks good. Yeah, we're booting it up now. There you go. Booted up without a game, and it loads straight into Alex Kidd in Miracle World. Which is... I think it's a well-liked game anyway. Here we go, Alex Kidd. Right, I think you can punch these boulders. No, maybe not yet. That's probably going to hurt me. There you go, Alex Kidd's died. I don't know how to play Alex Kidd. I thought you could, can you pick stuff up? I thought you could do something with those. But there's only 2 buttons and I've pressed them both. One jumps and one does nothing. There we go. How do we get past you? Oh. Right. I'm terrible at Alex Kidd, so we'll play Marco. Right. I think on this controller, I think we've got a button that doesn't work. Maybe that's why I was struggling on Alex Kidd. Let's try the other controller. Right, so one button's not working on both controllers. The start button or the A button wouldn't work. So I'm going to try and clean up those contacts a bit. I did try to plug it in this port, but as you can see, it's damaged. So yeah, unfortunately port 2 is damaged, probably beyond repair without replacing the port itself. I don't know if you can see, but one of those, well, you can see there, this one on the end is bent, or the end 2 are bent. So what we'll do, we'll try and clean up port 1 and see if we can fix that problem just with a bit of IPA on there. So port 1, I've just cleaned with a bit of IPA and a brush. I don't know what you call them. What do you call these sort of contacts? The far right one looks slightly bent. Well, they all look slightly bent, but I've got a feeling that far right one or maybe the far left one are causing me issues. On this side, you can see that those two are sort of bent. You could try and bend them back to where they're supposed to be, but they're just going to snap. I don't think there's any saving that port. I'd imagine it'd just snap. But if this can work with just one controller, that's not too bad. We'll give it a bit more of a clean and then we'll test it again. Right, just as you can see, this second port, I thought, go on, give it a go, what the heck, if they snap, they snap, but you know, it's broken anyway. But I've just used a pair of small tweezers and I've been able to bend it back in shape so that I can plug a controller on. Still might not work, but we'll test it. Hopefully it does. Right, we've scrubbed, so we're in port 1. I've cleaned it. Let's see if it now works. Yeah, still nothing. Right, port 2. I've got California Games on. It's a 2-player game. We're in port 2, and we've got the control pads working. Well, as far as I know, button 2 works. Button 1 still doesn't work. So yeah, I'm not sure what the issue is with that, unfortunately. Right, so that's all that tested. Yeah, so with the Sega Master System, obviously it was new for me to plug that in and go through it all. Searching for the right channel is always a bit of a ball ache. 36 and 37, channel 36 and 37 tends to be sort of the channels that it tunes in on. I think the Mega Drive and Master System were both on 36. What else did we have? Right, yeah, so the issue, first of all, turning it on, there's no indication light, there's no power light to show that it turns on. Most consoles you turn on and there's a light, or there's noise within the console itself. The Master System's silence, there's nothing. So it was difficult to know. Obviously, you're tuning in, it's difficult to know whether the power is actually working. Yeah, boot it up without a gaming and it'll boot up Alex Kidd, which is built onto the console, which is really good. And obviously you chuck a game and it'll boot up that game straight away. So the first issue was with the picture quality. Always an issue when it comes to our RFU adapters. It's something to do with interference of other signals. You imagine, especially this day and age, like if you could see all the signals from phones and other devices that are plugged in on standby, but Wi-Fi, it's all over the place. And I think there's certain signals that react with the RFU cable that someone's calling me. That react with the RFU cable and interfere, so the signal becomes distorted on the TV. You'll know this through just TV signals if you use an aerial, or that's what I think. Nowadays we tend to go for, so in back of a skybox or back of a TV, it's the satellite cable, which is different. You sort of screw it in, and the signal's a bit more secure. But these old, I think you call them coaxial cables, but those old coaxial and RFU adapters, just in the signal interference is always severe. I found that if I had it near the console or near the plug sockets, that I would get an interference. I sort of propped it on a little ledge at the back of the TV, and the signal were fine there. So it's just a case of finding the right spot. Sonic was interesting in 8-bit. I've not played that before. Again, the other issue was the button that weren't working. You find it certainly with like PS2 controllers, but buttons that you've obviously got the circuit board, and you've got a membrane, and on these Master, I didn't actually open them up because there's no point, because I don't have replacement parts. But I'm 90% sure that the problem will be that membrane will be hard and brittle. It's only thin material, and you can imagine over years how many times that button's been pressed. It was on both controllers. The start button, or button 1, wasn't working, whereas the other button was, and you can imagine that's been pressed a lot more, and so there's a lot more wear to it. And then over the years, just sat in storage, it's just deteriorated to a point where it doesn't get a solid connection on the board, so it can't register that the button's been pressed. I've not had a look, but I'm pretty sure as well on eBay, a couple of pound will get you a replacement membrane parts, and it'll be a cheap and easy fix. If he wants that doing, I'll happily do it for him. It gives me more sort of exposure to fixing things which are relatively easy. Soldering is just, I find, hard work. So yeah, the other issue was port 2. It's obviously been sort of damaged. There were two, I don't know what you call those prongs or whatever they're called, but there were two prongs which are sort of pressed over one another. It's not the best system for plugging in as it is anyway. I'd imagine a lot of ports are damaged just because of the technology. You've got a hard piece of plastic with several small holes, and you've got to fit those into sort of those weak metals, weak metal prongs. Now, I did bend them with a tweezers, so I did bend them back, and I expected them to snap, but they didn't. And chances are it won't last, and it'll be weaker. Well, it will be weaker, but it did actually work. I put California Games on 2-player, so I could check that port, and I could get an input again in that second button. So hopefully that's an issue that's fixed and is usable. But obviously the controllers will need new membranes. Other than that, it works, which is fantastic. The games appear to work fine. Again, just an air below. There was just that one ghost house, which I sort of wiped with IPA, but it probably could have done with how I did with the Mega Drive games, and used some Brasso as well. But again, they were all working fine, so there's no need. So yeah, they're the 3 consoles, they're a bunch of games, all in sort of one big plastic case. Now, he did say he's got other stuff, and when he comes round to them, he might send them my way. But for now, he's got a PlayStation and a Mega Drive that both work fine. The Mega Drive, he's just got the issue with the RFU adapter, just needs a new one. But again, buy the SCART. You know, if there's an option for SCART, always go for SCART. And then the Master System just needs a controllers fixing, which would be cheap. So we'll send those back to him, and when he decides what he wants to do, if he wants them repaired, then we'll look at repairing them. And then yeah, maybe there'll be more future episodes. If he does have more stuff, we'll see. If more stuff comes to me, I'll make sure I make another video. Something different. It's got me back into YouTube, isn't it? And it's just something different. So hopefully you've enjoyed this short series. Yeah, I'll be making another video shortly, soon. I've got some ideas, and yeah, I want to get back into making videos more regularly again. So look forward to that. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and of course, any sort of questions or comments that you have, put them down below, because I do obviously reply to them all, and I do enjoy reading them. But yeah, until then, thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next one.